a position, and here's one we haven't done yet. So if you feel like reclining, I think you'll enjoy this one. And we're going to just do a little period of breathing and then take a break. Okay. So place a base blanket down over the headward half of your mat. Let's take a second blanket, fold it as you found it, or those of you at home, this is kind of how we fold blankets, to stick them on the shelves. So we're going to have one like this. Let's place that down. And then a second blanket will cross over the headward end of that. Headward end, wherever your head's going to be. Let's say the headward end is back toward the mirrors, toward the back wall. Yeah. That's it. You got it, Chris. That was an easy fix. Now, I want you to feel where your lower back ribs are. That's where this blanket is going to go. So we're not bringing the small of the back. We're not going to force too much of an arch in the lumbosacral area. We're looking for T12L1, which means right here. And we'll be looking at, this is slim. And we're going to be, talking our way through the spine just a little bit later, but just feel where your own lower back ribs are. And that's where the edge of this blanket's going to be. So when you come down, you got to kind of wriggle and squirm your way to get a felt sense of that. Yeah. Now, if you feel like you get that lower rib cage onto that blanket fold, then pause and reach for the blanket that's under your head and pull it down till it grazes the top of your shoulders. So it's not only the head, but it's also the neck that's being supported. Now, what you'll notice about this is what you notice. But one thing is, feel how it slightly lifts your chest. Feel how it also brings an awareness to your back body, your lower back rib cage. Is that true for you? And notice with your feet on the floor and the feet standing, whether this feels like an okay position for you. And if not, reach for your bolster and slide it behind your knees so you can lengthen your legs fully out. So again, looking for a position that is comfortable for your body and your nervous system agrees with. There you go. That usually indicates, that kind of sound is a pretty good indication. But there might be something you could do to be 5-10% more comfortable. Get curious about how your back body meets the ground. What parts of you are on the ground? Are you able to let the arms go? If the shoulder blades are heavy, can the arms release? And what position of the arms feels best? A generous position out from the sides of your body. Does that feel good? Could you let the weight of the head fall back? And does releasing the lower jaw help you with that? You'll find that I don't do a whole lot of telling you what to do. I'll make suggestions and then I'd ask questions that what I'm trying to do is guide you to feel, to stay attentive to you. So it's not me telling you what I want you to do. How can you possibly teach self-empowerment and self-agency when you're telling people what to do? I'm going to make suggestions and have you check in with you. How is this for you? How is this for you? And if your body is speaking up with sensations that tell you this position is not right for you, then what could you do to improve upon it? If it overarches your lower back, reach for another blanket, a folded blanket, slide it under your pelvis. Now, let me say a little something about pranayama. Pranayama is said to be control of the mind, or control of the breath with the mind, and controlling the breath and all of that. And that could definitely be said to be true, some of the pranayama techniques. But in the beginning, we actually step back out of the seat of control, and we do an observation of the breath. Now, why would we do that? Well, because your breath is completely pulled around by your thinking mind. If you were to observe your breath during any given day, at any given time of the day, how you're breathing has to do with what you're thinking, where you're directing your thoughts, where you're putting your attention, and so on. Lots of studies done about all of that. So what we do in yoga as a beginning stage into working with the breath is to actually turn the mind toward the breath as it naturally flows. What we're asking the mind to do then over time is to take on the qualities of the breath, which will change the way thoughts enter and exit through the field of your awareness. And this is called prana bandhayam. Anytime you hear the word bandha, it means to connect to or bind. So what we're doing is binding the mind to the rhythm of the natural breath. I will be guiding you along, but this is your time. Notice with the soft belly, whether you can feel any movement between the rib cage and the belly. Bring your fingertips now to rest lightly on your lower front rib cage. These are called the floating ribs because they don't attach to the sternum. So they're very movable. And if you just let your hands and fingers rest lightly over the lower part of your front rib cage, you'll feel that you are lightly sandwiching this solar plexus area between your hands and the blanket beneath you. Without trying to change what's happening in this part of your body, can you just feel? You are the witnessing presence. You are the one stepping back with no judgment about what should be happening or how you can improve upon what is happening. or what you're supposed to be doing. Just step back and let it happen. And feel. With no expectations that this should be easy. It's one of the most simple practices you can do, but simple and easy are two different things. And it's actually calling upon the most uncomplicated part of you. The intellect, the ego are so complicated, and they love complications. This is a part of you that's utterly uncomplicated, very neutral as far as outcome, very open, not interested in agendas, judgments, improvements. Now, when you first begin to notice what you're noticing here between your hands and the blanket beneath your back ribs, when you first begin to notice that movement, do you notice, does it move? Does it seem to send a wave-like movement beyond this area? And where does that movement go? Does it move downward toward the pelvic floor? Does it move into your back body? Does it spread your back body at all? Are you able to follow that movement? Does it move upward any toward the head, into the shoulders, toward the throat? Is there any expansiveness or wave-like movement that seems to travel? Just notice where it is traveling. Be absolutely curious and attentive. And if there is a wave-like movement, does it seem fluid? Does it seem to go beyond the torso, even beginning to send a sense of sensation into the limbs? Could it be that you could sense, just placing your hands and arms wherever you want to now to be the most comfortable, could you get a sense through this internal wave inside of you that it is somehow affecting the whole body? Not confined to what we know are the breathing apparatus, but is the wave of movement seem to go right out to the surface of the skin? Does the surface of you, does the periphery of you, skin level, seem to expand lightly into the space around you with each inhale and condense lightly with each exhale? And as the mind follows this wave-like movement, and this is an inquiry, it's not a demand, but are you able to feel at all that the mind begins to take on the quality of the breath? Like the mind sort of binds itself or rides the wave of this movement. And if your body speaks up with sensations, does that wave move toward the sensations to somehow assist you? And even when those inevitable thoughts pass through, passing over the screen of the mind, are they able to come and go almost like clouds crossing the sky? They appear, they move, they disappear. Yet beneath that, the mind has bound itself, in a sense, merged itself into this deeper wave that maintains a level of interest, attraction. Almost like there's a dimension of you that has appeared and it becomes utterly mesmerizing. Like something that might be comforting, ever changing, yet predictably there for you whenever you decide to turn toward it. Nourishing you on a deep level, simply by realizing that each breath is the next moment of life, allowing you to perhaps experience a pure sense of aliveness.